Record. Let's break up the ink that's in there and then re-establish the flow of the brush. Let's do just some sort of practicey things. This is a weird way to draw. I gotta make this camera also to where you can actually see what's happening. Let's draw TraceLoops sort of guy, or a Does that focus decent? Let me try kicking this light up a little. Just a little bit. And then when this is pressed down, okay. I don't have a set thing for today. I just was gonna draw some face loop sort of things. Glad you're able to watch the live today. Won't be as long of a live because I got some other stuff I gotta do, but a little bit of a trying to make it so I got some slack in the line. I'm gonna try and do a blockhead sort of guy. Oh, Brad the Creator. Shift this up a little bit. Okay, I think that's enough of this guy. I'm just going to leave this be for the time. And disconnect that. Connect the scanner. Get a better perspective here. And I'll do that thing that tend to enjoy hearing because they're not used to it. Gonna scan and fill this. And I think that'll just be what I put up today. Interesting flavor. And actually do it longer. Going for it. Okay. Show this guy. And it. This area, we're going to a different location. Going to, not that one. New folder, 11-26-2020. Choose it. $1,200 should be enough. Yeah. Repetition and extensive amount of time doing something that's a bit of a novelty isn't the most engaging several days running. It's also a little bit harder to understand what's happening with that macro perspective. I'm a bit less talkative and I didn't promote it. I'm just going through why this is a little less engaging of an event. Figuring out whether or not this pursuit is worthwhile. File open. Left size 6. This guy open. Trigger. Display capture running. Not to unplug stuff. Darken this one pretty significantly. And let's just go down and fill stuff in. Computer's running a little hot. Pretty simple guy. A little tire at top. Alright, that's too big. Blow this stuff out, and this stuff out. And this just be Turn off display capture, grab the file. Scan in a little bit. There you go. Today's a little bit faster of a thing. If you got questions in general, feel free to. I think that the macro perspective is okay for a little bit, or this sort of like quick drawing thing, but I don't think it's great for long-term legacy sort of bits, because it's not my favorite tool to draw with as well. Because it's an unnatural sort of thing, so I'm sort of limited in my mobility. And it takes a different degree of concentration that I haven't learned and not super interested in learning, because it's uncomfortable. And I've spent so much time learning how to just draw with a brush outright. But not a great job of cleaning my glasses. It's also limited in how fast you can play it back, because it's so close to the actual thing. It distorts stuff perspective-wise to a degree that you can't really get away with doing time-lapse of it and have it be any sort of understood, because small movements are much bigger at that scale. So when I move in that space, it gets pretty chaotic. Any questions, thoughts, concerns, comments, curiosities, etc., etc.? If you like if you go into my store and you're looking at the, I think only one person is, or no, two people have purchased some variation of them, but they're both people that I know. The shirts that I have, mine just arrived today. My most recent one. It's a photo of me wearing a shirt where I'm wearing a shirt of me wearing a shirt of me wearing a shirt. The faces aren't inspired by real people, but a lot of them end up looking kind of like me. So I think unintentionally they get inspired by me, but I don't have any explicit people that I'm imitating with them. I don't know how best to... I'm not great at abstracting actual people's faces unless it's like really abstracting them, but the idea of like creating a caricature of someone I'm not particularly good at. I can kind of do myself, but that's about the extent of it. But recognizing what features someone has that can be exaggerated or focused in on is a talent that I don't have, and I've not spent any time trying to refine that either, so just not great at that particular thing. Any other questions on stuff? Sorry that you're able to catch a live and it's a little less ambitious of a live stream. I don't have as much time today. Yesterday was holiday stuff, and then the day before that I was supposed to have something happen, but I had two things, but I rushed through because I thought both of them were happening, but only one of them came through, which isn't bad, but it got rescheduled for today. You have a lot of people that look like, or a lot of faces looking similar. I have not been to anywhere in Asia. I've been to North America and Europe are the two continents that I've been to. Furthest south that I've been has been like Cancun or something. Furthest east that I've been from the United States was Italy. Furthest north, Vancouver, probably. but pretty much mostly been on this continent. I am curious about going to Asia at some point, but travel is not the height of stuff right now. It's not the most. And I don't know what the logistics are. I haven't looked at anything for international travel exiting the US right now, but I'm pretty sure you gotta hang out for 2 weeks before you can do anything. Because of our government's poor handling of COVID stuff. Any other questions going? I can dance about the United States not doing well with coronavirus. I'm working towards doing the alphabet. It just, each one takes like about 3 hours, and I've had stuff scheduled late afternoon recently, so I haven't been able to jump back into that, but probably Monday is the soonest I'll get to it. Weekends, I usually have some sort of remote family plans. I've talked about it before, but I watch movies with mom and sisters, and that's like early evening, and so I feel super rushed if I'm trying to do stuff earlier that takes more than like 2 hours, and so it'll probably be Monday when I get back to doing it'll be F is the next one. I don't know, I could go ahead and sketch out an idea of how best to whatever. So with the thank you. I'm glad to help with your anxiety. It's not fun to deal with, being anxious. I've had different occasions, but it's not a super often happening thing for me. But let's just sketch out what the F is like. So the E, the movement was, it curved up. Let's see if I can draw this at such an angle that you can see while it's happening. It curved up and sort of landed here. So that was sort of stage one. And then after that, both the top and the bottom exited this way. And so I think what I want to do is avoid having the C or the D was like up and down. I was just trying to have some variation here, but it was actually around and down to give it a little bit of dimension there. The C was up, then land this way, and then have the bottom go up that way. The B was that way, and the A was this way. So the F, what I was thinking of is having it go up and over, and then so that it's not got this same curl that the E has, instead having it sort of bump out like that. So it will look more kind of like a neon sign, but a little bit tighter. So it will actually end up being something more like that, where it's actually like overlapping, and you just see a little hint of the one behind it instead of a wider. So it'll be more actually kind of like that as far as motion's concerned. Well, I got a little bit of time. I'll just do some more speculation on drawing out alphabet bits without actually animating anything. So F, and then G is after that, and G has a little bit of variation that you can have to it, because it can just be like that. It could be over and down. It could be a wider motion there. So you've got a wider thing here. So you could, I haven't done something where like it bounces up and then extends from that position. So maybe the G sort of like goes out in preparation and then comes together, bounces up, settles here, maybe it spins as well as it's going up. So you have this little guy sort of facing this way, and then it fills out that space. H is going to be annoying unless I just do it super fast. Because it's going to end up sort of looking like an M. I think it would be more interesting to have it go that way, so that you have a little bit of a change. And then have it come above. H like that. I think it might be, well, the easiest is just to make it go like this, but I don't know if I like that. I would prefer to have the full, like that bit. But how to make that not look as much like the H movement is something I could roll over. So it turns as it goes here, and then sort of go the same bit as the C. And instead of the H where it comes out in front, I could go behind it. J, it would probably be like spread out, then pop up, have it get up here, and then fill out the space here. With this one, it could also collapse even on this H shape to return back to the start where the full shape. So that it collapses and you end up with sort of a U shape that then transitions to just an elongated guy. How do I process drawings in such smooth animation style? It's tedious. Yeah, it's frame by frame. So, and I do it as every frame is a new drawing in its entirety, which means that it's advantageous for how I work being imperfect, because those imperfections sort of like, everything's jittery. Nothing, so like if I draw a line and it's a little bit wiggly, it's imperfect. The next line might be imperfect in a similar but slightly different way. So I don't have to make this a perfect straight line. Like I don't have to get it here, I can get it sort of like that. Because as you draw and you're seeing 15 in quick succession and everything in the illustration has that slight variance to it, then you don't have to make it as perfect because nothing's resting. Everything's a little jittery. Nothing is settled. So that aids in making things appear smooth. You've always wanted to get into animation. What are some tips and tricks you'd give to a beginner? Also, what program do I use to pull all the drawings together? Tips and tricks. Rotoscoping is a very rewarding entry into animation, and it's a little less intimidating. because so rotoscoping is a process where you trace over the individual frames of video footage or historically film footage. So something like Take On Me, or I don't know if you watched the Fiona Apple video I did recently, that's got a lot of rotoscoping in it. So you trace out sections frame by frame by frame. And that was sort of the first time that I animated, and I was like, that looks like something that someone else could appreciate outside of just my effort put into it. Because you don't have to know as much about how movement is happening and taking place, stuff like that. I was gonna sneeze. Okay. You can just do a bit of an automated process of tracing over all the different frames, and then you'll have something that feels like you have some ownership of it, but you didn't have to consider as much of the concepts of animation and stuff. Also, looking at animation that you enjoy, looking at it frame by frame and looking at the differences and really trying to understand the motion as it's being conveyed, what it feels like when it's playing back at full speed, and then you look and you see what the actual actions and variations, the changes between frames were. And you start to notice that things don't have to be as perfect as you think that they need to be. A lot of things in motion look almost off-putting if they're too perfect, because it doesn't make sense. And most of the time when you're actually viewing something like video or something like that, it looks like it's super crisp and clean, but if you are to go in and pause those stills or look at a single frame, not everything is in focus or without blur. It's not as crisp as it feels like when it's playing back in sequence. What program do I use to pull all the drawings together? I use a mixture because I am most comfortable with that process because of how I've learned to do things. So I usually open everything in Photoshop so that I can adjust things individually or clean up sections or darken stuff, things like that. Clean up, crisp up bits, and then I'll use either Premiere or After Effects after I export that as a series of images that have been cleaned up, After Effects or Premiere import it as an image sequence and then save it out from there. Thank you, Amia. I'm not sure how to say your full name. EMEAERREREOENE. I don't know how to say your name. Apologies, but I appreciate the compliment or the hard eyes and saying that you love my art. You like the busy or buzzy looking animation style. Your animations are more smooth. Have you ever tried that style? I'm not 100% sure what you're referring to for being a busier or buzzier. Hola en Mexico. Gracias para tu compliment, Leon. I've pretty much settled into the style that I got. I like things that are calm, cool, simplified, refined, and a little bit more graphic but not chaotic. I still have bits of chaos in whatever, but I'm not super sure. A shakier look, it's maybe I've done it at some point, but the more varied something is for a long period of time, it doesn't deal well with it's good for very short periods of time, but it's a lot to have something that's that chaotic for more than a few seconds. I don't want to chat. I just want this. Thank you, X Alkane BX and Ferrieri. Hello, Yalcino. I don't know. I like things that are calm and chaotic at the same time. I've sort of settled into my aesthetic of things, and I'm not at the moment looking to expand into other styles and things like that. Any other questions, thoughts, concerns, comments? Tomorrow and Sunday, it'll probably still be still images. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep up with this macro bit. I'll bring it back at different times. But hello, Eileen. Love tuning in. Your art is amazing. You seem great. Love to see the face and voice behind the art. Thanks for watching. Yeah, over the weekend it tends to be that it's stills just because of the time that I've committed to other things in the evenings and wanting to take a mild break. But Monday I should be back to being able to do an animation, commit that amount of time. I'll do my spiel now. So I'll upload this to YouTube. You can watch this and previous live streams there. There are a couple that might have the front or tail end cut a little bit short, but they exist in that space. And if you want to find stuff there, then just search TraceLoops on YouTube. I did a quick drawing earlier, messing with the macro bit. I'm about done. This was just sketching out some ideas because someone was talking about feeling comfort in the animation process and stuff. But you can find stuff on YouTube if you want to watch previous streams in full. They won't have the comments that you see in the live stream on them. But I'll try it. I'm trying to get better at restating the questions or reading questions out loud so that it is understood in the YouTube uploads of stuff. If you want to go there, there's I forget how many hours, but a good amount of time you can commit to watching these guys. If you want to, I'll post the still. Oh, there's a still. If you want to see that still, post that still up on Instagram. Have it available for purchase on a t-shirt. Talking about purchasing stuff, if you want to buy something from me, you can go to traceloops.com/store and do purchases there. If you're based in the US, you can just use that. If you're based outside of the US, you can email me at traceloops@traceloops.com and I can work with you to figure out time and costs because the shipping goes up a bit for international stuff outside of the US. I haven't sent anything to Asia as of yet, so I'm not 100% sure the cost difference, but if you're purchasing t-shirts that say DTG at the end of it, those are printed by a fulfillment service that I use, and so those are just a little bit more for international shipping, about $5 more US. So if you're looking at a extra small to an extra large shirt, then instead of being $23 for US shipping, it's closer to, or not for shipping specifically, shipping and the shirt itself is $23. If you want to get stuff internationally, then it tends to be about $28, so about $5 more for shipping and import tax stuff, things like that. But that's total price is the $28. And if you get a 2XL or larger, then it's a couple dollars more for the shirt itself. If you want to get a print that I have or some cuffs or enamel pins or some older shirts that are screen printed, the price for shipping those internationally will go up a bit more because I'm handling those myself, and the costs that I have available to me currently for shipping internationally jumps from about like $3 for domestic shipping to $20+ depending on weight for shipping outside of the US. So if you want one of those, then the price goes up a bit, just to be forewarned. But I can ship to Asia. I just might have to figure some things out to get an accurate price quote for you. If you are on TikTok, you can follow me there. Same username, TraceLoops. If you're on Tumblr, you can follow me there. Same username, TraceLoops. It's going to be pretty much all the same content, but slightly different formatting. And if you prefer to be viewing on one of those other platforms, you can. And it makes it look like I have more of a following, which is nice and self-assuring to me, and helps to make people more likely to hire me for things. Because that's how the metrics that they use. Any other questions on stuff? Have a little more tea. Give you guys about 30 to 40 seconds from me saying this. You'll hear that in like 20 seconds. Seems like no one else is throwing out some questions. So I'm gonna head out in just a moment, unless someone throws something down there. If you get cut off, thank you for saying have a great day. Hope you have a great day too. If you have additional questions, you can direct message me and I'll do my best to respond. And you can do that here on Instagram, or if you want to email me, you can email me traceloops@traceloops.com, and I will also try to do my best to respond as quickly as possible there, but sometimes I fail to do my best. Thank you all for watching. I'll plan on being back tomorrow. Won't be planning on animating until Monday. Adios.